Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Chips and Dish here on the All About the Birds Network. I, of course, am your host with the most, Chip Keggy, a.k.a. Chip for the Birds, 86. No, that's why apparently. Chip for the Birds. I'm joined tonight. Didn't remember my own damn Twitter handle. Good start. Joined tonight by my good friend, my bestest buddy, one of my best buddies, Rich from Drunk on Broad. What's up, buddy?
Hello, Sir Chip. Thanks for throwing me a few bones here and bringing me on. It's going to be.
Say goodnight, Rich.
It was great to have you. Say it. No. What's going on? Hey, it's Don. Don joined the chat.
Yeah, we got people saying, Adam's saying good evening. Adam, what's up? Adam just bought some merchandise. Adam, I hope you're watching the Monday night show with my face while watching my face. It's
a beautiful thing.
That'd be like multiple layers of outstandingness. I told my student, I got a copy of my own shirt because, I'm a narcissist like that. And I wore it to school the other day, and I showed my students, I was like, get to a point in your life where you can buy merchandise with your own face on it.
You so got bullied.
Luckily, the kids were still virtual that day. We were fine. A2D to chime in, what's up? And Mr. Seaway Science, a.k.a. one of the co-hosts of Drunk on Broad. And the March Flyers Teacher of the Month. If you haven't heard,
yes.
Don did win for March. Let me just do quick things real quick. He is now in a competition in the first week of May, and it's only 1 week, for a Teacher of the Year. A Teacher of the Year for an additional $20,000. And we got to beat somebody from Edmonton and somebody from Pittsburgh. So we're going to have to help him win that. I'm just going to put that out there. As soon as it goes live, y'all will know.
I'm excited. I'm excited
too. So what's going on, buddy? I haven't seen you in a couple weeks.
Outside
of me invading your show through the comment section.
Nah, dude, love it. Love when you invade the show. We're gonna get you back on soon. All good things. Man, we're just having fun, dude. I mean, the show's coming real well. Picking up Don was huge. I love how everything just kind of fell in place. We got Don. Nick decided to come back. So it all adds just layers to the onion that we call Drunk on Broad. We're just having fun.
All gooders are like onions.
It's just like London, just so many layers. It's a beautiful thing.
I don't know if I should go frontwards or backwards. I keep switching. I'm only 4 minutes in. We're gonna go backwards.
It's gonna be a lot today. When you go forward, I'll go backward. So we'll just keep flipping.
When you zig, I'll zag.
Yeah, zigzag. But everything's great, man. How about you? How's things?
I'm living the dream where, I'm starting to get students back in the classroom. We're, coaching and umpiring. We're doing all kinds of stuff. And I had to sneak in that umpiring thing because we got some things to talk about with some officiating that happened yesterday. So it was a good call that some of you tuned in tonight. Because there were some bad calls yesterday.
I like that. No, that's great.
Let's pay the bills real quick. All About the Birds, we're sponsored by a lot of stuff. We're sponsored by Hemp Bombs for premium CBD products. I do not partake. I don't know what these things are. So if somebody would like to make me partake, you might have fun time chip one of these nights. The code is AAT Birds for 20% off. 99jersey.com. Awesome movie jerseys and things like that. AAT Birds for a 20% discount. And I think our new favorite is Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. 20% off and free shipping for your down under tools.
That's fantastic. I actually have one of those, and it is great. I'm not gonna lie, no nicks, does not nick my balls. I know nobody wants to hear that, but it doesn't do it, and I'm real happy. Thank you, man.
I personally enjoy the deodorant. That's the
Dude, it smells real good. It smells real good. I'm not gonna lie. It does. Fucking my best birthday gift I bought myself. So happy.
All right, so now that we've spent a solid 30 seconds talking about our testicles, let's talk about another team that's just straight balls right now, shall we? We're gonna jump right into it. That's the segue I decided to go with, and it's the fucking Flyers. Oh my god, the Philadelphia Flyers.
God, that's so bad.
Fucking suck. They fucking suck.
And that's being nice. That's being nice.
So Matt, he pleaded with me. He said, "Listen, please, could we not do the Flyers talk tonight?" And I said, "Oh, we talking? Oh, we talking? Right?" Now I'll tell you, when the Flyers play on Monday, and Matt, you can confirm this in the chat box. When the Flyers play on Monday nights during a Chips and Dish show, what happens? What always happens on a Monday when the Flyers play during the Chips and Dish show? They win, and they usually win in epic fashion, which is just fucking great that they're not playing tonight. The next game they play is tomorrow against the Capitals. Yeah, exactly. They win, but they're off today.
Yeah.
And apparently the whole franchise was off because they decided to not do diddly squat in the trade deadline. Yeah, Don's got the best win for the Flyers.
1,000% true.
I'm leaving that comment up for a couple minutes. Yeah, Don's got the best comment.
That is 1,000% true. There's no bigger win for the Flyers than Don. That's pretty much it.
So the Flyers made 3 moves today, right? They re-upped Scott Lofton for 5 years.
Good deal.
Okay. It's a good deal. I mean, again, I'm just getting back into it, but he seems like he knows what the hell he's doing. And when they talk to Fletcher, they're like, look, I don't want to fill another hole. I don't want to have to fill another hole.
Agreed. He's one of the only people who seems like they have it together on that team right now and been consistent all season. So you can't let him go. And it's hockey, so it's relatively cheap money. I think it was $3 million per year. So you get him for $15 million. Like, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not terrible. Now, the 2 people that they traded away were Eric Gustafsson and Michael Raffle, who was traded to the Capitals, who will wear number 17 tomorrow, who will be in the lineup against the Flyers tomorrow. So look for him to score 2 hat tricks tomorrow night.
At least.
At least. Look, from what I learned about these 2, these were kind of deals like Gustafsson, he never really blended with the team, and Raffle played a lot of games, but he was, playing through injuries and doing what he could. That's
so you're
what I
telling
learned.
me a big, slow defenseman and Eric Gustafsson didn't mesh with the rest of the big, slow defense that they have?
Yes. And in true Philadelphia GM form,
we got nothing for them.
Apparently the Flyers are going to retain 25% of Raffle's salary. So we're still, I don't know if that means we're paying it or we're keeping it. I don't know which one that means.
I think if we're retaining it, I would say that we're probably going to pay it.
Right. So just in pure Philadelphia GM form, hey, we're going to pay somebody to not be here.
The tough thing about this, Chip, is I wish I could say that I've watched the Flyers in the past month, but every time I turn them on, it's just such bad hockey. It's frustrating. There's one thing I love about hockey is watching good teams play. You watch good teams play good all-around hockey, guys who can skate. It's exciting. It honestly gets you on your edge of your seat because every shot, you're like, oh, shit, could go in. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And there's so much back and forth, good passes. Then you watch the Flyers where it's dump, turnover, goal, not Flyers goals. It's everybody else. It's just so infuriating. And then everybody kills Carter Hart. the 22-year-old kid.
It's not his fault. Look, he's got to do better. He's got to do better for sure, but it's hard when the defense is chronically turning the puck over in your own zone. Chronically.
He stands on his fucking head and makes some great saves some games, and then other games, easy ones go in. I get it. He's still 22, but then you got people calling for his head. It's like, he's 22. Give it a fucking break. The kid will be fine. He doesn't need all this crap. And then the defense
see that
in front of him. What do you expect?
But we see that in every sport. Right, we see that as far as calling for the head, right? It's you see calling for Jalen Hurts' head, calling for Carson Wentz's head, calling for Aaron Nola. I did a whole show last week about whether or not Aaron Nola is as good as everybody says he is.
Yeah.
Now, I said he's the best pitcher on the staff, 1A, 1B. I just don't consider him an ace because my definition of an ace is what it is. It's the Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan's DeGrom level, like superstardom.
Understood.
But everyone else calls for his head. Carter Hart is 22 years old with a dog crap defense in front of him. It doesn't make sense to me.
When have the Flyers had a defense? Like, that's like what I'm trying to figure out because I don't remember it. If it wasn't like back maybe in like 2000, 2010, 2006, like we had like that era, we had a good defense. Like, who have we had since? And when your leaders and your Voraceks and your Giroux are playing like dog shit or playing subpar and they're not scoring, like what do you expect? It's another team that has a bunch of aging guys with a bunch of young guys who have some promise, but some guys aren't panning out. Nolan Patrick. So yeah, I understand it, but it's the same Philadelphia sports mentality. You look at the Eagles, aging roster, some young guys with bright spots aren't coached well. Boom, go to the Flyers. Same fucking thing. Bunch of older guys who are on some contracts. I don't know if they're good or bad because I just don't care about looking them up. And then you have a bunch of young guys who maybe can play.
Right. And the thing is, like, you look at, what just happened in the NFL today, right? Julian Edelman was released / going to retire because he couldn't play at the level that he was playing anymore. And Julian Edelman is a borderline, we're going to talk about this when we get to the football section, a borderline Hall of Famer based on the career he had. So if they can get rid of him, just like the Eagles got rid of Brian Dawkins, players, when they've reached their peak point, have got to be moved on from. The problem is the Carter Hart is 22 years old. Stop looking to move on from a kid who hasn't even approached his prime yet.
Yeah, you keep that kid for as long as possible because you saw when he is in the right spot. Yeah, that's a charge. When he's in the right spot at the right time and he's coached well and his head's right, he is one of the best goaltenders in the game.
Right.
You do not get rid of that. And when by the time he hits 25, he could be Patrick Waugh or Brodeur level with the experience and hopefully a defense. And stop drafting offensive players. It's the same fucking thing every sport. Draft a defenseman who's not 6'10" and can't move.
Yeah,
like draft a defenseman who actually knows how to play defense and can get back and be in the right position. It freaks me out when I see like a defenseman on another team. I'm just gonna like throw out like a Swede or a Russian defenseman who can absolutely fly. They get the puck and then they're behind our defense in like 3 seconds. It's like, how is this possible? And then you got guys like when we had like Braden Coburn and freaking Gustafson who can't skate. Like, why do you have guys who can't skate?
Because they were supposed to buy into the system. Now, the thing that upsets me, and I listened to a little bit of the press conference after the trade deadline, which was supposed to be 3 o'clock, then it was 4 o'clock, then it was 4:20, then it was 4:30. So they couldn't get their shit together, which is kind of like an homage for the entire season. But it's funny that, Matt says, hold on, where he said, where you had a comment, right? The season is over. But he also said, Fletcher also said, is that we're still in the fight. Like,
your players have to have the fight to be in the fight.
Your players don't have the fight, and you did not make any moves to make the team better this season. So all you did is make this team technically worse. Now you're going to give the young guys a chance to play. So if that's the fire, if that's what you're looking for, and the fire comes from the young guys actually getting a chance, now maybe you sneak in at the 4 seed, but you just lost to the Buffalo Sabres for a second time. Now, I will say this, and I don't know if you saw the soccer goal in the hockey game.
I didn't.
So the goal that changed the game yesterday.
Okay.
It was very clearly evident that the puck was kicked into the net. They went to the replay. It was evident that the puck was kicked into the net, which you can't do. You're not allowed to kick the puck into the net. That's kind of one of the rules.
Accidentally, if like a slap shot goes off your skate and it goes in, then it's fine. But you literally can't kick the puck in.
Right. And it was very, very clear. And I'm trying to multitask here and do the.
Hey, man, you're good. You're good.
Well, it's the teacher.
You have a hell of a show. Do what you do.
Thanks. Appreciate you. But the thing is, you're not allowed to do that. So they reviewed it. And then within 30 to 40 seconds, they gave up the second goal. And then in the last minute, when they pull Carter Hart, they had the open netter. So it ends up looking like a blowout when in reality, up until the last 4 minutes, it was a tie game. But you were up 2-0 on this bad team. The Sabres are the worst team in hockey. And you have now lost twice to them and got blown out by them.
Yeah, it's because the Flyers aren't a good team.
The Flyers are a bad team.
Bad teams find a way to lose. And that's what the Flyers
do. And we
do.
learned that with the Eagles. Bad teams do find a way to lose. That's exactly accurate. I'm trying to find this goal because it really is just so upsetting. It's so upsetting.
I just can't believe it's been 16 minutes and we're still talking about the Flyers, which is pretty cool. Like
listen, I told you we were going to do it.
I know.
We put in more of an effort on this show than the Flyers do. We know Don puts in more of an effort winning things for the Flyers than the Flyers do.
I'm glad that the whole Philadelphia sports community came together to help Don win. And then we all go at the same time, the Flyers fucking suck. It's like, Don, we're so happy you won. Flyers fucking suck.
But they do.
It's not a lie. It's not a lie. It's so.
There you go. So the Sabres have 10 wins on the season. And 3 of them are against us.
That's so terrible.
But here's Chuck Fletcher. Here's Chuck Fletcher going, we're still in it. Oh,
so
also,
here's my question.
Also, we're not going to fire any coaches as at least right now. Now, we've heard this lie before. We're not going to fire any coaches and then they can everybody. But maybe it's time to fire some coaches. You can't go from being the number 1 seed last season to getting a first-round exit to now missing the playoffs entirely and still hold your job. I'm sorry, you can't.
No, you have to. There's something wrong there, and you have to figure it out. My question is, does Fletcher really think that he has like the next Connor McDavid in the AHL, like in with the Phantoms organization or whatever organization? I don't know if they're still the Phantoms or there's another one.
They are still the Phantoms.
So do they really think that Connor McDavid, number 2, is down there? So you get rid of Raffle, you get rid of Gustafsson to make way for these young guys, and that this guy's going to come up. And I mean, like Morgan Frost, heard a lot about him. He came up. I haven't heard anything about him since he came up. Is he doing well? Is he not doing well?
Listen, I'm still trying to learn the guys on the team, let alone the taxi squad, let alone the
young kid, high draft pick. Like that's my whole thing. It's just like,
look, what I know with hockey, by the time they get to the NHL, if you're talking like a 22, 23-year-old kid, you're talking about a kid who has already played, 16 worlds, 17 worlds, 18. Like they've played internationally. So we kind of get a good feel of their professional career by that point. If we're relying on the lower level and we're not putting these players on this team is dysfunctional right now. And as Matt says that they were a true number 4, but they were the number 1. That still means something. They were the number 1. How crazy is this? Adam, what a great thing to add. And I appreciate you for that. If the Flyers fire AV, Joe Girardi will be the longest tenured coach in Philadelphia with 1.5 seasons.
That's pretty remarkable. Not going to lie. That's pretty remarkable.
Adam, I appreciate you for that.
But
they're not going to fire him. According to Chuck Fletcher, he's good to go. He's Gucci. He's golden.
And who cares? Like at this point, it's like who gives a fuck? Like figure it out. Pack it in and see what you can do in the all season. See what you can
bring up. Back up the pooper scooper. Turn it into a parking lot. Name that movie. Name that movie.
I don't know.
Major League. They're going to blow it in the playoffs. They will. They're going to blow it in the playoffs.
Randy Quaid. Now I see it.
There you go.
I see
again, this week, so we're talking about a team that is borderline on the playoffs, but this week they have the Capitals, the Penguins, the Capitals, and the Islanders.
Loss. 4 in a row.
Yeah, this season could be over this week. Call Gordon Bombay, see what he's doing. He's filming something on Disney Plus.
If you didn't know, Gordon Bombay is now going against the Ducks and is with another team, which I hate that whole direction of how that went.
Spoilers, people don't know.
It's if you watched anything on goddamn TV for the past 22 days, you would have seen it. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Listen, I'm just saying that we may have to do a separate podcast where we just talk about game changers because there are so many nostalgic feels that I'm getting every time I watch that show.
Dude, I love it.
All right.
I miss it.
Rich, you survived 20 minutes of hockey talk.
I'm pretty happy with that. Can I go home?
You ready? You ready to get into the stuff now?
Yeah, I'm ready to get into the meat.
Let's do it.
The
Phillies, we are 1 week in. What, sir, are your initial thoughts on this Philadelphia Phillies team?
We are going to finish number 2 in the NL. We will make
behind who?
That's what I don't know. See, that's the funny thing. Like I say number 2 because I have a feeling Washington is going to be number 1 again.
Really?
Well, you know, they had the COVID thing, so everything got postponed. I honestly, I like their hitting. They have a bunch of mashers. I love Soto. They're young. They're hungry. Mm-hmm. You know, it's hard to bet against Scherzer and Strasburg.
And it's why? Because Scherzer is an ace in this league.
Yeah, because Scherzer's just dirty. But when Scherzer's off, he's the same way. He'll get rocked. The Mets were a dumpster fire. I still believe the Mets will Mets themselves out of everything. And
the fact that DeGrom already, so we know that his numbers, we know that his numbers are what they are, but the fact that DeGrom already has not won a game because this team, when he allows 1 or no runs, they're like, all right, get out.
Yeah,
right,
we're gonna lose.
Now let's fucking.
He's got like a 1.02 ERA or something. It's like he's got 2 losses. It's so amazing. And the Marlins will just Marlins themselves. Sisto, he got hurt again, so who knows what the hell happened with him. But no, dude, I love this team. Like I really do. Last night, or 2 nights ago, the hitting came out. Bryce Harper's hitting bangers. Reese, I have to criticize him more. I mean, we were talking in the Drunk on Broad group chat. I'm like, dude, I have to like kill Reese more. Every time I kill Reese, he does well. And this is the shit that I want to see from Reese. I want to see him produce because he's a bright future. He's got first base on lock if he can handle it. He's got to do better with the picking and the errors they need to cut down on a lot.
He is not a defensive first baseman yet.
No,
he does not understand the intricacies of the position. We can very clearly see that.
He is Ryan Howard -0.5 when it comes to
like the fact that Reese is like currently leading or toward the top of the league in doubles.
Yeah, which is
not
awesome.
what you expected from him.
No.
But what it took is, and I've definitely said this before, the problem that Reese had was the fact that he was stuck in the analytics nightmare that was Gabe Kapler.
Yeah.
And it was every swing is you're swinging for the fences. Every swing is swinging for the fences. After a year and a half with Girardi's like, dude, level your fucking swing out and you will hit the ball. Girardi has saved Rhys Hoskins' career as of right now. That was a way of exiting the league if he kept swinging that way.
I 1,000% agree with you, Chip. You play baseball. I played baseball. Don played baseball. My whole crew played baseball, and we talk about this all the time. Like, I don't understand launch angles. I've never was taught launch angles. I was taught hit the ball squarely and good things happen. So why am I going to adjust my angle of contact? So it's either I'm getting under it or I'm going to miss completely. I just never understood the whole launch angle thing. Yeah, maybe you'll get more home runs, but it's going to cut down on everything else that you need.
Right.
But my favorite part of this season is not only JT, but Didi playing super well. Didi he is one of my favorite Phillies. I am in love with Didi Gregorius. He is the man.
Yes.
Everything he brings to this team, I'm so happy that we have him. And I'm happy we have him next year too. And hopefully he keeps producing and we can get him again. I just love him. Gene Segura.
I do too.
I've had enough of Gene Segura. I don't know what the hell happened to him. I'm done with him.
Gene Segura is a second baseman in this league, and that's it. But the fact that, like, here's where – so Didi Gregorius is already off to a great season at the plate. I will say, though, that defensively he has started off weaker than I would have liked.
I agree with you.
That is one place that I've been actually surprised because he is a good fielding shortstop, and that is almost becoming a liability right now. You saw last night when he double clutched and took all the weird steps, and then Ahuna, whatever his name is, Ahuna Matata had no worries as he ran to first base and beat it out, followed up by a home run to start the game off down 2-0.
Yeah.
So I mean, it does matter having a weakness at shortstop. But the bigger issue, and it's what Matt said right here, center field is a horrific problem. The Roman Quinn experiment, I was excited to see that he had warning track power last night.
I'm throwing my hat in the ring on this one, bud. Yeah. I'm about to fight Roman Quinn. I'm about to take Roman Quinn outside, beat the shit out of him, and then go back inside and grab Adam Hazley by his throat and figure out what went wrong with you. How could you be a top 5 pick in the MLB draft and be this bad? Just give me Moniak. Just give me the kid. And if he can't play in the MLB, he can't play at that level, I'm completely fine with you need to go out there, Dombrowski, and you need to get somebody at the deadline.
At this point, so for me, watching this team and watching Adam and Roman play, I go, okay, if those are your best 2 options, we have a problem because at least in the minors you have, and I'm going to say this and it's going to be ridiculous, Kingery and Moniak. That's a better platoon. That's a better platoon than Moniak and Hazley.
I hate Scott Kingery, but give me him. Give me somebody who can actually play the position. Give me Moniak, the kid who plays natural outfield. I will take that all day. I believe I read a quote today, and I think it was like Richie Ashburn who said it, and he said it about like another player in his team. He was like, there's one thing about being like watching a guy who can't hit from one side of the plate, but it's another thing to watch a guy who can't hit from both sides of the plate.
Right. And look, Quinn is fast as hell. But
you can't steal first.
Ran over the pitcher on a ground ball to first base last night.
But you can't steal first, so he's useless.
You can't steal first. And that warning track power thing isn't going to cut it.
Like, it makes me laugh. Like, they play him like T-ball level. Like, they're right behind the outfield. And he can't push a ball. 2, he can't put one down the line. And 3, he just can't hit. So what is the point of trotting this guy out there? And defensively, he has a wet rag for an arm just because he's quick. Like, come on, man. Like, this is not – like, I'm sick of this. This is like, remember we had Michael Martinez?
I do.
Like Michael Martinez and like the Pete Orr days and the Cody Ashby days. It's like he would have fell in great with those guys. But now you actually have a major league roster with guys named Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius, Alec Baum, and Andrew McCutchen, Reese Hoskins. Like, you had these guys, but you brought this guy.
And it's interesting that you bring that up. It's interesting that you bring that point up because one of the things that people were saying before the season started is because you have Real Muto and you have Harper and you have Gregorius and you have Baum and you have McCutcheons and you have all these studs, is that you're allowed to be a little weak in one position. No, that's what people are saying. The problem is that you really can't be.
That sounds like a dumbass person who makes excuses.
You can be weaker, but you can't be weak in a position.
You can't be a black hole. You can't be nothing. You can't be an abyss. You can't
be a guaranteed out.
And then they can't, and then it's an automatic out. You don't give teams an automatic out.
And you already have an automatic out at 9.
Yeah.
So it's an automatic 2, unless it's Wheeler, right?
That's your boy.
Right. At this point, I am willing to try Harper at center field, anything other. Yeah. Harper at center field, that's an idea because then you can put Matt Joyce. You can move player. First off, I'm not a fan of Matt Joyce at all. I think that is
in Tampa Bay 5 years ago. Not a big fan of Matt Joyce now.
Yeah. Here you go. Here's this. Conway. This is Roman Quinn's numbers. I'm guessing currently batting .063 with 1 hit this season. I have seen breathalyzer tests with better averages.
I'm already at that. Like, come on. Like, this is ridiculous. Cheers.
Here you go.
Your water.
Listen. Nice jugs.
Hey, gallon, baby. Nice jugs. I like it. A really big jug you got there, bud.
Quinn is batting .062. Hazel 211.
Don Hensley.
He's my favorite Eagle.
I love it.
Thank you. But yeah, so again, you have a problem at center field. So what do you give up? Because outside of Moniak, our minor league system doesn't have the studs that we need. And no one's going to take on Quinn, Adam Hazley, Scott Kingery. They're not going to take these players.
No, I mean, you just send them down and just call it a day and just forget about them until their contract runs out. Because I mean, it's different from when you go from they don't have pro contracts. I'm pretty sure Roman Quinn was not signed to a pro contract, so he'll get prorated back to whatever he was getting. It's you look at baseball, it's very different from other sports. Like Scott Kingery is probably the only guy who is getting paid, who's playing in the minors, who's getting paid millions because his contract doesn't prorate back down. But when those minors guys come up, they get the $2,500 a week. But when they go back down, they only get the $500 a week. I don't feel bad. Like Roman Quinn, what have you been doing this whole offseason? How have you not been working on hitting? Hazley, what are you doing? One, you can't play center field. You can't throw. You still look like you're 160 pounds. Like, guys, figure it the fuck out. And
so
then
let me ask you this,
because and you don't invite him to the roster.
Right. And Matt makes a good point here. Isn't he out of options to go down? Because I know they're only allowed to send players down a certain amount of time.
Then waive him. Then waive him. Who cares? What are you going to bring him in to pinch run? Like that's all.
So let me ask you this, because let's play coach here for a second. Is part of the reason why Roman Quinn is struggling, and because I'm just going to assume Roman Quinn's a starter, even though Hazley started on opening day, whatever. Is it because he's in the wrong spot in the lineup? Meaning, is our top of our lineup too loaded and the goods aren't balanced out? So if you batted McCutcheon's at leadoff and then Quinn at 2, because he at least can put contact on the ball.
So
in that Placido Polanco kind of mentality,
can't hit the other
one, and then just move everybody else down.
Placido Polanco was the best 2-hole hitter in my opinion
of all time.
Yeah, he was the best. It's like, all right, what do you need to do? A 2-hole. You need to move the guy over. He did it all the time. That inside out swing and just poke it right past second base. You can't beat that. And to answer your question, no, you can't do that. Roman Quinn,
then you're getting out at the top of the lineup.
He's going to ground out, and either McCutcheon's out and he's safe and he might steal a bag, or he'll get picked off or get thrown out because he's not a guaranteed stolen base. He's not the best base runner. Yeah,
JT Realmuto is a better base runner at this point than Roman Quinn. Stealing third base.
And that is a crazy thing to say for a guy with that much speed. So what is going on here? I think the Phillies they're just in a spot where they're just trying to see what they can do with getting Moniak bats, and hopefully Moniak comes up. I think it's too early in the season to press like everyone was the panic button. But me, you, and other people who know the game and who've been around baseball knows if the guy is starting out, and you've seen what he did last year, you've seen what he did the years prior, you know this guy's not good. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me twice, you're in Philadelphia.
Yeah, you're in Philadelphia, and your name's Roman Quinn, and you're starting in center field. And Adam Hazley, who they really want to be successful. And I had high hopes from the kid out of VT, but he's just not good. No. I have no idea what happened to him. Like, I don't know if his confidence is crushed, but I love every aspect about the Phillies except center field. I'm sorry. Their bullpen has looked fantastic. Connor Brogdon.
Connor Brogdon, I was going to bring him up.
Key to the city, Cuzzo. Give him the key to the city. Love that fucking kid. So, I'm sorry, Chip. Sorry.
No, you can cuss. We've been dropping cusses.
Oh, no, I'm saying bring up Connor Brogdon.
No, I was about to do that because when I watched the game very closely last night, and my wife was making commentary. We were having a conversation about it. First off, can we talk about the absolute bum that is Matt Moore?
I don't know. I was convinced. Nick, my buddy Nick on our podcast had me convinced he came back from Japan a changed man. I'm like, he did not come back a changed man. I've seen him pitch one good inning since spring training. I'm good. I don't need to see Matt Moore. That experiment's over.
But that's what I'm saying. So he's now had 2 games where he was dog crap. And just watching the shift in aggressiveness, the shift in the speed of the game from when Moore left last night and Connor Brogdon went in, it reinvigorated the team. So you have got a starting pitcher that the team doesn't support.
Yeah.
And he's your number 4. Chase Anderson at 5 is even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And he had a decent career with Milwaukee. But he's not the guy that he is, 38 years old. Matt Moore is like 39. Like, you got 2 back end guys who are trying to save their careers. But let me ask you this.
No, Matt Moore is not that old. They did this on ESPN last night. Matt Moore was in the same draft as Bryce Harper.
Is he really?
He was a 2007 prospect or something like that.
He's 36.
He's 31.
He's 31. Who's this Matt Moore? Oh, that's the
I don't
football
know.
player. That's the football player.
He's 31 years old, and he is terrible. And he's making $2.5 million. Oh, no, it was in U.S. dollars in 2019. I don't think he's making that much.
So let me ask you a question, Chip. With the 4 and 5 hole hitters, or 4 and 5, the back end rotation guys, what does that say about the pitching that we have in the minors?
Well, number one, what's going on with Spencer Howard? Where is he?
It wasn't that good last year.
Right, but you're telling me he's not better than Matt Moore and Chase Anderson?
No, because he's a guy who's going to come up, and if he gets a shit rocked, he's going to be lost. He's going to be one of those guys. You saw it last year when he came up.
You did.
And it's the same thing with Cole Irvin. Cole Irvin was the same way. Dude had one good outing. I was like, oh my God, this dude's nasty. His next 3 outings, like 8 runs, 9 runs, 5 runs, bunch of walks, and then pitched his way out of Philly. And now
so you know what everyone's waiting for. You know what everyone's waiting for then.
Who?
Vinny V is going to come back into the starting rotation.
All right, dude. It was really good being on the spot.
I saw somewhere that because tomorrow's a double, so tonight got rained out because tomorrow's a doubleheader.
I thought he would probably pitch one.
That Chase Anderson, when he goes for so tomorrow he's pitching the 4:00 game, but his next start will be on 4 days rest. So Vinny V might take that spot in 5 days.
I think they need to go out there and they need to look who the free agent pitchers are. And they need to get some guys in. I don't know, for workouts or whatever, but they need to start saying, I just don't have faith in the guys in our minor league system. And we saw that. Howard was bad in empty stadiums. Exactly. And that was my whole thing with Spencer Howard. I was not sold on him. He came up. I'm like, this guy does not have it. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And somebody was like, yo, that's Spencer Howard. I'm like, no, it's not. I heard great things. Don, a billion
trash.
A billion percent.
At one point, they were 5 and Vinny V. That was their record, 5 and Vinny V. Because it was Vinny Velasquez is the hemorrhoid that will not go away from the Philadelphia Phillies. And each of the teams have them.
Because they don't spend on anybody else. Why wouldn't you go out there and just pay $3 million more and get an adequate guy? No, you go to arbitration with this guy?
Just adequate, right. Just adequate.
No. 1 inning. He's the only pitcher to have one inning with 3 Ks and then 3 walks and something like that. Right. It's the most amazing stat. But that's Vinny V. That's who he is.
And that's him to a nutshell. So you look at we have 4 games with the Mets. We got 4 games with the Mets and then 3 against the Cardinals. So we're finally going out of division, right? Because we started off the season just straight in division. Look, this Phillies team, Nola did not have a good start last start, which the night after the whole conversation that me and Jason had about whether or not he is my definition of an ace, which is that you're going to be a Hall of Fame pitcher. Yes, he is the ace of the staff, but I look at there's 3 to 5 pitchers in the entire league that I would call an ace at any time. Aaron Nola had a bad start.
So his bad start, right? So, all right. So we're going to go this way. We're going to look at bad starts. So his bad start would be, and that was on April 7th, was his last start against the Mets, was 4 innings pitched, 6
And that's
hits.
why it was a bad start to me.
Yes. Oh, no. I agree. 4 innings pitched because his pitch count was fucking all over the place.
Correct.
With 1 run. We're looking at that as damn, he only went 4 innings, but he only let out 1 run. Right. Against the Mets lineup, that is a joke. I think the Mets are a joke. Lindor, besides Lindor and Pete Alonso, the only thing Pete Alonso can do is hit home runs. That's it. But Nola,
it's a pretty nice skill to have.
It is. It's great. But, if you just pitch around him or throw him anything but a fastball,
it's all about launch angles. It's all about launch angles.
He throws this way. He throws a curveball in the dirt. It's the Ryan Howard effect. Throw the slider low and away or jam him on the hands. He can't hit it. But when it comes to Nola, we're looking at, okay, he won 4 innings. That's a bad start.
Sure.
But he's the guy who's going to get you 6+ 2 earned runs. Can the Phillies support him? With this lineup, yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
And I don't think that's how we look at the bad start. I agree. It was a bad start because the pitch count was up.
See, and it was the pitch count. And what worried me was watching his interaction with JT Realmuto. Because JT Realmuto is, as we all know, the best catcher in baseball. And to watch the two of them not be able to get on the same page, I'm glad they pulled him at 4 because he didn't have it.
His curveball wasn't working and his changeup wasn't working. And I don't think it was frustration between the two. I think Nola was more frustrated because JT was like, all right, let's throw a curveball here or let's throw a fastball here. And Nola really wanted to get his curveball going. Like it happens with pitchers who are good. It's like, okay, it's not working tonight, but let me see if I can get in a rhythm. Let me see if I can get my breaking ball. Let me adjust my grip for this batter. Let me see what happens. He couldn't find it. Okay.
Right.
Everybody has one of those.
Correct.
Starts. But he only went 4 innings and let up 1 run. I'm okay with that because then the bullpen can come in. And if we have adequate bullpen pitchers, which we do in Alvarado, I love his stuff. I love guys who are wildly inconsistent, but consistent at the same time, which is what he is. Bradley, that's going to be a big hit until we get him back.
I was going to say that. So losing Bradley this early on is both good and bad. Losing Bradley early on. So obviously now you know that he is a full-on embraced Philadelphia because he went right to the injured list. Because that's how you know
first time in 6 years.
First time in 6 years. He's like, I would like to go visit the injured list. I hear it's nice in Philadelphia. There's
It's a beautiful place. I mean, Howie Roseman over here. He'll tell me what to do with my career.
Fucking asshole. But Archie Bradley, so it's good and bad. Him going on the injured list right now, I'm happy with because it's not later in the season. But the problem is that Archie Bradley on the injured list, and they said, he actually gave an interview. He's like, I got the COVID shot, and then all of a sudden, I know where my arm was like in agony, and I couldn't pitch. I'm like, well, you're supposed to get in the other arm, Dodo.
They tell you what arm. They literally ask you what arm.
Right, I'm a lefty,
and arm.
I'm a lefty. When I got mine, I was across from somebody, so it was like, hi, and the other guy was like, it was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever seen.
It's so weird. It's so
I know.
Weird. But you look at all right. So back on top.
Yeah.
Bradley.
Sorry, I had to give it a shot.
I was catching what you were throwing at me. It's all right.
I know.
Don't worry about that. But then we got Archie Bradley being hurt. Whatever. He'll come back. He'll be fine. Connor Brogdon's been holding it down. Like I love that guy. We get to Neris. I'm completely content with Neris in his role. So I'm confident if we need to get 2 innings out of a guy, we can bring in a Brogdon, get him to the 6th, get an inning out of Jose Alvarado, and then we get an inning out of Bradley and then an inning out of Neris. I'm completely fine. Like that doesn't bother me, him going only 4 innings. But what bothers me is people, I think not like you, but people who expect Nola to go out there every week and
throw no hitters
guys down.
Yeah, that's not reasonable.
June and July when the guy's untouchable. It's a lot of he's a California kid. He's one of those guys who grew up in the warm weather. He pitches better in warm weather, but he doesn't make excuses when he's not. Which is the one thing I love about Aaron Nola. He doesn't make excuses when he's off.
Yes,
beautiful thing. But he's not off often. Zach Wheeler, as much as I love him, he is one of those guys who will throw 101 and mow down 15 guys in one outing. But then he's another guy who will come out and walk 6 guys.
He also didn't have a great start. He, like, we're all sitting on the fence about like over quick reactions here, and Wheeler's number 1. Well, right now in my mind, we have 2 really good pitchers, really good pitchers, but neither of them, in my opinion, is somebody that there are better options in Major League Baseball to who you would want to give a game 1 playoff ball to. In all of Major League Baseball,
yes,
you can't tell me
like 4 guys.
Exactly. And that for me is why I don't consider the 2 of them aces. They're the aces of the staff. But now you
know
look
what
at
the funny thing is?
What's that?
Sorry, the funny thing about that is out of those 4 guys, only 3 of them would make the playoffs.
Correct. So
you
now you got to look at playoff ball, and you got to look at a playoff series. This Phillies team has maybe 3 wins in a playoff series because you don't have a 4th starter, you don't have a 5th starter, and depending on the day, you don't have Eflin. And depending on the day, you don't have Eflin. Eflin is either really good or really bad.
And you know what? I think this is his prove it year. I think I liked what I saw out of Eflin in his first start. I really did. I love a guy where he throws mid-90s, but everything moves. The biggest thing to me when I was catching back in the day, or even just when I was playing first, was I want a pitcher who throws things that move. And I don't care if you throw 95 and it's right down the pike, anybody can hit that. It's not hard.
True.
But if you have every pitch that he throws moves, like that's incredible. But he's also one of those guys, if you're moving and it's not in the right location, it's going to get hit a long way. So I completely agree with what you're saying about Zach Eflin. But to me, this year's his year where if he doesn't have it, then he doesn't have it. And then you move on from him. But then what do you do? Like that's the hardest thing that you have to look at is like, what are the next moves for this Phillies team if they don't make it into the playoffs, which I hope they do, because I think they finally have the pieces in the front end of the rotation, and then in the back end of the bullpen, which is completely huge because
I don't think that Hector Neris is a closer. I think he's been good. I don't see him as that, Bradledge, John Rocker mentality, that Mariano Rivera mentality.
And I see, this is where like you're hitting me in like the nostalgia and the feels, because all three of those guys, it's like we grew up watching, and it's just like, but it's so hard to emulate those guys. They're not,
because it's not a pitch. It's not a pitcher's league anymore.
It isn't. The balls they use, like, thank God they deadened them this year, because if they didn't, we would have home run after home run after home run. Like, they had to do something with the compression of the balls because they were just wound too tight and they were flying off last year. And that's MLB's part, because MLB's like, hey, we're a dying sport. We need to get people watching. And what do people watch the game for? Home runs.
Home runs.
I love home runs. And I appreciate a well-pitched game and I love a defensive battle. I love seeing that shit.
Well, since you're talking about Major League Baseball, I got to ask a very serious question here.
Okay.
Did Alex Bohm touch home?
What did the umpire say?
I mean, the umpire said he was safe.
That's all I care about. That's all I care about.
But between you and me, right? Because no one watches. No one's watching. Did he touch home? No.
He didn't touch home. When you're surprised, when you're looking at a replay, and now everyone's like, "Oh fuck!" Like, he's like, "I didn't touch home." You know he didn't touch home. But you know what the egregious thing is? People are getting mad over that. But how about the Conforto elbow? Conforto literally went like this. Like, okay.
He leaned into it. So again, I am an umpire, so I can tell you that it is tough. It is bang bang. It is all about positioning. There are so many things you need to do. That umpire for the Conforto, I mean, it was clear that he leaned into it. And originally he called the strike, and then he was like, "Oh wait, I changed my mind." Bro, you can't control a game like that. They both happen in the NL East, though. You cannot have the NL East decided by 1 or 2 games because of umping. And that if whoever wins the division doesn't win by like 7 or 8 games, that this is going to be talked about in September, in October.
It just makes me laugh because I'm pro robot umps at this point. I'm pro with getting the right call. And it's the same thing like when we go to the NFL. What pissed me off was, we're going to do the whole replay pass interference. 0 got overturned. You know why? Egos get in the way. Umpires, referees, line judges, whatever the fuck you want to call these morons, if they get something wrong, they all stick together. Hey, you got it wrong. We're not changing it.
I can confirm that. I can confirm that as an umpire. So when we do our pregame meetings, and this is literally, right, this is 12, 13-year-old leagues. I do Connie Mack. I go all the way up to like 17, 18-year-old kids. At the pregame meetings, if there's more than one umpire, we say very clearly to the managers, if you have an issue, you can't argue balls and strikes. If you have a question about a call timeout, go to the umpire that made the call.
Yeah.
Right? It's that umpire's choice about whether or not they want help. Yeah. And the conversation that the umpires have before the game is very simple. You basically let me know if you need me to change the call.
Yeah. You got my back.
You're confident about right. I'm not going to overturn you unless you feel like you may have blown the call.
Here's my dilemma on that, because I was raised in there's no you have my back, I have yours. Like, yes, there's codes to life. But I was always raised what's wrong is wrong and what's right is right. If you see something that's wrong, make it right. Don't just stick up for your boy who did something completely stupid and be like, I blind faith. I back this guy because he's my boy. Like, no, I'm going to let you get your ass whooped for that one, bud. Like, you messed up. You were wrong. And when it comes to umpire, there's been times where like I'm an ump or I'm a ref. So I ref basketball and I'm with this old man. God rest his soul. He still umps or he still refs. I don't know how.
Why are we resting his soul?
Because he's one of the worst people, like worst referees. Nicest guy, but God rest his soul. Like, I just want him to hang up the fucking whistle, Chip. That's all I need him to do. And
I may not be able to read. She's so old.
Dude, I'm like behind the net. I have my whistle in my mouth. He's calling something from the trailing ref as the trailing ref in the lane. And I'm like, yo, Ed. I'm like, what do you say? Oh, he pushed him. I'm like, Ed, he wasn't anywhere near him. Well, I saw it differently. I'm like, Ed, you were at the baseline. Like, you don't run that quick. And then it got to the point in the game where the coaches were like, Rich, are you going to do something? And I'm like, if it was a different sport, I would overturn the call. I'm like, but I can't like
It's
go
his,
back and
it's
forth.
yeah.
So you know what I did? I told the coaches he wanted to get a drink at halftime. I walked over to the coaches. I said, I'm not calling anything. I'm like, because I think this game's already out of hand as it is. So what did I do the whole second half? I put my whistle down. And Ed's like, oh, you didn't make any calls in the second half. I'm like, Ed, you seem like you had it, bud. I'm like, I'm just here to get paid. Like, I'm sorry, dude.
Oh.
But it gets to the point where it's like you need to like who you work with. You need to realize that, hey, this is a game. Let's get it right. But here's my problem with MLB, and the same thing my problem with the NFL. Why have replay if everything isn't reviewable?
And there it is.
Like,
why is there a list of things you can review and a list of things that you can't?
You can't, like, oh, you're going to art. Like, the only thing that they could have reviewed for the elbow for Conforto was if it was a hit by pitch. Not that it was a strike, not that he leaned into it. That doesn't matter. Like, this is ridiculous. Hey, Mac, I completely agree with you. But when we're talking about, like, that at that game was 6th to 8th grade girls. The final score of the game was 6-0. I'm not calling.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying, oh, dude, there was a chance the whole game. I'm like, someone's going to make a basket. It never happened.
If they go on a run and score 7 points, we got ourselves a ball game.
We got ourselves a ball game. If they had made one basket, it would have been a ball game. Like,
I'll take it. It's one time.
But you also get people who've been doing, like, I was doing it for 3 years at the time. He's doing it for 39. So he thinks he knows more.
And the problem is, as the younger guy, you want to err on the side. So I got into a situation where I made a call, and then I checked with my partner who it wasn't his call to make because he's literally the guy who runs the umping organization. And he kind of corrected what I saw. And the coach chewed me. He's like, it's not your call to fix. Like you. And so we had to reverse it. But again, we ended up making the call right because it was what it was supposed to. You have to have some humility. And as an official, just in general, if you hustle, you're good.
Yeah.
You know, at what we do. As far as whether or not he didn't touch home last night.
No, he didn't touch home at all. No,
he didn't touch home. So shimmying into basketball then, because the Sixers are currently up 15 on the Dallas Mavericks. They're currently up 15 on the Dallas Mavericks. So here's my question. Here's my question. Right. Here's my question. Allegedly, the Sixers added George Hill. Now, I've never seen this man. I don't know if he actually exists, whatever.
What is an anomaly?
What is George Hill?
What is
Apparently he really likes Philadelphia. He's having a lot of fun, but we've never seen him on the damn court.
Grab my strong finger. See, like fucked up his finger or something. Like,
grab my strong hand.
Grab my strong hand, child.
So what did the Sixers do today after cutting Ignatius Acneus? The dude with the bad pimples all over his face that we got on the trade deadline.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Right. His last name is not Acneus, but it had the word acne in it. So I did that.
Understood.
Right. Sorry. Zit was not a good joke. So what they did.
Oh, that's so good.
I know. Zit was not good. So what the Sixers just pop it
now.
Gross. So what the Sixers did today is they signed Anthony Tolliver to a 10-day contract. Nice super journeyman. Right. Cool. Exactly. So since the trade deadline, they have traded for George Hill, who hasn't played. They have added Paul Reed for the rest of the season.
B-ball Paul, baby. B-ball Paul.
And they have signed Anthony Tolliver. So my question for you is this. Do the Sixers have to make any other moves, or are they the beast of the East?
I look at it this way. If the season were to end today, Tolliver's not playing. He's gone. B-ball Paul not making the rotation. Your rotation gets cut down to 8 guys max. Dwight Howard and Joel Embiid, your centers. Danny Green, Seth, Thibault.
Korkmaz, man, he's having a great game even tonight.
Korkmaz might be your 8th guy just because he can shoot, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, no, you don't do anything else. There's no point. You're going to get these guys who are going to come in for what? You get the 10-day contract. You don't do anything else. They're fine. They're in a position to where they can beat any team in the East in 7 games, and I'm completely 100% in on that fact. Like the Nets have that dream team factor of all these old washed up guys who can't play, and then the one ball theory, and then the fact that they don't play defense.
That's what I was going to say. The one ball theory, man. The one ball thing. Look, yes, you have Kyrie Irving. Yes, you have Kevin Durant. Yes, you have James Harden. Yes, you have LaMarcus Aldridge. Yes, you have Blake Griffin. Yes, you have Joe Harris. But there's one basketball. And they have yet to put together anything where all of them are playing together.
They can't.
Kyrie Irving is not playing tonight. Why? He needed personal time off. Forget the fact that, you're for a playoff rush and you only played X amount of games last season.
Agreed.
You needed time off. Okay, well, fine. We play them on Wednesday. Is it going to be an actual matchup of the Sixers versus the Nets, or is it going to be some other so-and-so needed a night off?
It's going to be so-and-so needed a night off because they're going to save them for the playoffs. That's all they're doing. They're saving these guys, and they're going to put them together in the playoffs and expect it to, come together like glue. It's not going to work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
You don't understand when you have three guys who are, I would say, I'm just going to say this, yes, because they are. You have three perennial all-stars. You actually have five perennial all-stars because you have Aldridge, who was an all-star for many years, Blake Griffin, who was an all-star for many years. But they're shells of themselves now. And Aldridge is a quitter. So I don't agree with Aldridge. I think he's a quitter. I didn't want him on the Sixers anyway. Harden, Kyrie, and Durant. Yeah, let me see this team on paper. Let me see. All right, I see him on paper. Let me see him on the court. Let me see what they can't keep up. They're going to be able to score. But if you let up 130 points and we only let up 129, we win. It's just the name of the game.
That's called a winning streak.
Called winning. I just don't agree with. I think the Nets were pushing too hard to go all in because they want to bring something to New York. New York is starving, basketball-wise, for a chip.
And look, this Nets team on paper is really good, and they do have studs and they do have stars. But until we put it all together, we don't know. So here's what the Sixers have in the next the next week and a half, right? So tonight we're playing the Mavericks, and they're up 15. Because why? Luka's playing, but Porzingis isn't. So we're not even getting any of these teams at their best, which is the one thing that's annoying me, and the one thing that worries me for the playoffs is that we haven't seen any of these teams yet when they go all out. But
Porzingis can't cover Joel Embiid anyway. So
I didn't say covering him, but at least seeing what their yes. I want their best shot now so we know what our weaknesses are.
Agreed.
And no team is giving it to us. No team is giving us their best shot. So that's tonight. Wednesday, they've got Brooklyn. Friday, they've got the Clippers. So
Clippers will be tough.
Clippers are going to be tough. I think the Nets are going to be tough depending on if that's the night that Embiid needs a rest. Then we go.
It's possible.
Then we go Golden State.
To the Clippers? Are they going to
home against the Clippers? Home against Golden State. Home against Brooklyn.
I don't think they're going to rest Joel because it's not a back-to-back. So it'd be Wednesday and Friday. I think
so. Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday. It's a 4-game homestand against Brooklyn, Clippers, Golden State, Phoenix.
I think Joel has to play all 4. You have to.
I agree.
You have to see what you can get out of him. You can't do this whole, hey, I'm saving him. It's no, you need to make sure you get the number 1 seed. I think that is the most important thing to do. You need to get the number 1 seed. You need to figure this shit out. You need to hey, Joel, I get it, but we need to make sure you're conditioning your endurance and your longevity is there. We need you for this run. So if they come away 3
and then after Phoenix, they've got 2 in Milwaukee back to back.
Which Joel will play 1 and then the other one's meaningless. So it doesn't matter. So they should go 5-2 in this, if not 6-1.
But this is a legit stretch. This is a legit stretch of basketball. This is early playoff
I'm not
basketball.
throwing Joe back to back against the Milwaukee Bucks for no reason. It's either he sits the first or he sits the second, which I'm completely fine with him doing because what's the point? I don't see the need for him playing the back to back. You're not going to play a back to back in the playoff, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and so then they win the East. They go up against. I'm going to be honest, man. I'm high on Denver right now, and I said it on my trade deadline show. I'm high on Denver. I think that unless the Lakers get all their pieces back, Andre Drummond is carrying this team right now. But that should tell you what the Lakers are, and that the Lakers being carried by Andre Drummond beat the Nets handedly
with no one else besides Andre Drummond. It was ridiculous. I saw those highlights and I'm like, you should be embarrassed. If I'm Brooklyn, I'm embarrassed. I am embarrassed. It makes me laugh. So
I do think the Nets are beatable. I just want to see them actually play. I want to see these teams' best shots. That's my biggest thing. Somebody give us a legitimate fight. Have our best 5 versus your best 5. That's what I want to see.
Agreed. Agreed. I have nothing. Yeah, that's pretty much what you want to say.
Okay. You know what we do here.
Are we doing it?
We avoid it as long as we can. This is the second time you've been on. This is the second time we spent an excess amount of time talking about everything except it. So haven't you enjoyed that? You've enjoyed it, right?
I've been doing an hour long without mentioning the E word. I'm very happy with. I love it. Fatigue.
Drama.
All it fucking is with this team, bro. It's all it is with this team. Like I love. All right, here's my kudos. I love your show. I love what you guys. I love the content that you guys put out. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to get shit from other people for me saying this. I'm so fucking sick of bloggers, bro. I'm so sick of the fucking people who are putting such bullshit out there. And you know what the great thing is? All over my timeline today of people who I follow, who I respect. Yeah, our boy Shaq, who put out there, he's like, yo, this shit's getting ridiculous. Boy Prez is putting shit out there like, dude, this is just getting old. Like, I'm sick of seeing these articles put out because there's half of them don't have any substance and half of them are shit we already fucking know. So why do they – it's the bloggers who are doing this. Like, people don't realize it's not us who are doing it, the small guys who are talking about like – because we don't have any insiders, but we also don't make shit up. So all these articles, and I'm reading, oh, well, Howie was pulling – no fucking shit. You didn't know that? Or you didn't know that Howie was pulling all the strings? I knew that. You knew that. We talked about this.
We did.
Everybody and their mom knows that Howie is the one pulling strings. He's the one who's causing all this. He doesn't let anybody have a say. It's why Chip Kelly pushed him to a fucking abandoned room in the NovaCare complex because he didn't want that little weasel in his ear. He destroyed the team himself. He didn't need Howie's help. So let's just stop with all the, well, Howie's behind this. We fucking know.
But the bigger issue, and I've been banging this bell for weeks, is I've been saying, but it's bigger issue of it's Howie, yes, making the calls,
but Jeff
Lurie has told him to do. Jeff Lurie doesn't understand football, so now you've got two people in Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman who don't know football, who are making analytic-based decisions and feel like they deserve a spot in the room. In no universe was Jalen, and no pre-draft boards and no mock drafts, and was Jalen Reagor rated higher than Justin Jefferson.
He was rated in the second round. Everybody had him in the second round.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside on no boards in the history of the universe was rated higher than DK Metcalf.
Fourth round. Right? Was he drafted in the fourth round? Or he was drafted in the second round? He was drafted in the second round.
Nobody in the history of the universe last year, when you look at, I would be shocked if you could find with an actual timestamp date of when it was posted, a mock draft that had the Eagles selecting Jalen Hurts.
No, nobody had him. He was the fifth round draft.
But the analytics say this, and the analytics, stop it. You have non-football guys making football-based decisions, and you have a team falling apart from the inside out. And the problem that I am finding is that this is happening on a weekly basis. The Eagles are not in the news. They are not in the news nationally. They are not in the news in Philadelphia. Stop
trying to get them on the news. Nobody gives a fuck.
The fact that over the weekend, more information came out. Well, the Eagles are going to draft a quarterback. I swear to there are 52 other positions on the team. You have got to look at other positions. You have got to let Jalen Hurts have a chance. If you draft him in the second round, you have to give him a chance. You going out and drafting a Justin Fields, you drafting a Trey Lance would be a failure of a draft to me. It would be a failure of a draft.
If I'm Jalen Hurts and I see these articles, I would literally post a video. Like, because this is just me being me. I would post a video and say, after all the shit that happened last year, this is how we're going to fucking do it. No, we're
going to do it again?
No, we're fucking not. And I would be completely honest. Brandon Graham was like, yo, if Micah Parsons is there, and this is when they had at 6, if Micah Parsons is there at 6, we need him. That's the guy who's going to change the game. Stop fucking around with the offense. We need a defensive player. Everybody's on J.C. Horn now. I've only been riding that fucking bus for like 3 months.
I know you have.
And everybody's like, oh, J.C. Horn. I'm like, oh, the guy who bodied Kyle Pitts? The guy who bodied Kyle Pitts when he played against him, because J.C. Horn's a big physical fucking guy.
But this team doesn't value defense, Rich.
They don't value anything. At this point, they value a fucking weasel.
You know, and we talked about this an hour ago.
His money off of movies over football people.
We talked about this an hour ago when we were talking about the Flyers and talking about stop drafting offensive players. Stop. Look at the defense. Look at the defense. You can win, and this is what the problem with the Brooklyn Nets are. You can win games with a great defense. Even if you have a mediocre offense, you cannot do it the other way around. Yeah, you can outscore teams, but you saw with the Dallas Cowboys last year. The Dallas Cowboys offense is stacked. The Dallas Cowboys offense is stacked. And if you add a Kyle Pitts to that, I mean, they might be unstoppable. Where do you stop them? On the scoreboard, because they still don't have defense.
Because you know what you do? You run the ball down their throat.
Right down their throat.
You don't pass the ball at all on Dallas. Dallas comes down and scores a touchdown. What do?
You score one right back. Every time the Eagles scored a touchdown last season, what happened? They gave up a touchdown.
And it was like 4 plays instead of the 12. They got them down there, and then the 2 penalties. Like, it makes me laugh. But you know what the funny thing is, Don? As Don puts out, the biggest problem is Jeffrey Jones feeling comfortable to make football moves.
I've been hashtagging Jeffrey Jones for weeks.
I love it. And it's like you look at Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones actually played football. So you take what Jerry Jones said actually kind of seriously now. I never knew he played football, but apparently he went to South Carolina with Jimmy Johnson, I believe. Oh, okay. I didn't know he did. My dad was telling me that. And I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. I didn't know Jerry Jones knew football.
He tracks.
Like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. So it makes sense. Like, I'll let him get a draft pick. Well, what did Jeffrey Jones, we'll call him Jeffrey Jones. What did Jeffrey Jones do? He made his money off of Hollywood movies.
I want to point out that at this point, we are saying nicer things about Jerry Jones than we are about Arkansas. Jerry Lurie.
Thank you. Sorry.
Arkansas.
Yeah. Arkansas. Thank you, Don. Thank you. Great.
So Adam Mack, right, one of our great All About the Birds, right, says, get Micah Parsons, super impactful player, and will help get wins, but they don't value the linebacker position at all. The problem is that now we're at 12, and I've been hitting this bell too. They're going to be drafting at 17 or 18. They are not done trading. No. They are not done trading.
So J.C. Horn is most likely going to end up.
He's going to end up in Dallas or New York at 11 or 10 because they're going to try and screw us over.
I would say it's most likely. No.
Which would be great because then Surtain would be available.
Yeah, but Surtain's a finesse guy, and I don't like finesse corners. I'm not a big finesse guy. I like the dog that we have in Darius Slay. I like the dog in him. I don't want a finesse guy. Like, as much as I loved Asante Samuel, he was great for the rules at the time, and he was a ball hawk. I'll take a finesse guy like that. Surtain, no, I'm good. Give me J.C. Horn. His dad was Joe Horn. Like, give me the guy who's on the other side of his father. Like, you think that Bill Horn did not teach J.C. how to read routes and read wide receivers and look at the chest and look at the footwork? Like, I'm pretty sure he did. Give me J.C. Horn if you're staying put. But also, I don't see why you would trade back. But here's the thing that pissed me off. When I see all these stupid fucking bloggers putting articles out. Mm-hmm. I said it. I'm like, tell me that the Eagles are going to fuck around and trade 3 first-round draft picks for one of these quarterbacks, whether it be Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. If they do that, what does that do? You have 2 quarterbacks who are making over $36 million. And you're still
think about how much money
doing that.
Think about how much money would be committed to the quarterback position if we do.
Oh my God, dude. It
would be an absurd amount of think about a pie chart, right? The quarterback position would be like 35 to 40% of their offense, of their money. Look, you have to. Dan Orlovsky said it best. You have to draft the other spots. You have to fill the other spots at this point. You got to stop with this quarterback shit.
It gets to the point where everybody made fun of me when I said, "Hey, 5 years, we're 5 years away." Nah, it's a quick turnaround. Mm-mm. No, it's not. When you don't have a competent front office, I will beat my drum all day when I say 5 years because Jalen Hurts isn't the quarterback of our future. One, he probably won't even get the chance if they do decide to draft a quarterback, which would be absolutely stupid. Nick Sirianni will not be our coach at the time, so you hire whatever puppet that it takes to get you maybe to the playoffs in 3 years, because this year you're winning 4 games. The next year, you're probably going to win 3 or 4, depending on who you draft.
Because the NFC East is going to start getting better at some point. Look, there was a time when the NFC East at a time was the best division of football. It's just now trended down to the worst division of football. But it's going to go up on the trend again. You've got young quarterbacks. You've got stud wide receivers. You've got young coaches who now want to prove themselves. The Eagles have too many question marks. Too many question marks.
It makes me laugh, and I love AA Max thing We're 5 years away from being 5 years. Yeah, exactly. Like, people don't fucking realize. Like, I looked at it through a lens of, and this is before everybody started killing Howie. I looked at a lens. I'm like, you look at who you have as your GM. You look at who you have as an owner. And you're going to say, oh, it's a quick turnaround? When you know this guy is going to go into a draft with Givens on the board, and he's going to go, nah, I'm going to go for this guy over here because he fits our analytical scheme. He fits what we want to do. But he hasn't been productive. Enter Davion Taylor. What the hell did that fucking guy do?
We don't know. They won't put him on the field. We don't know they won't put him on the field
in his whole college career. But that's the guy you drafted in the third round.
They won't put him on the field. They won't put Kayvon Wallace on the field. They had to put Jack Driscoll on the field. They never put Prince Tega Wannago on the field. Like you had a team that was trending so far down last season, but they never played their young guys.
And you drafted 5 guys. Driscoll's the only one I like out of them. I think they cut.
I like Driscoll.
I think they cut Prince. Didn't they?
They didn't cut Prince. He was on the practice squad, and the Chiefs picked him up.
Yes. So here's what happened with them. So I read an article where that was Clemson, right? Clemson? Was it Clemson? Or
Prince was Auburn.
Auburn. Him and Driscoll both came from Auburn. And everybody said, oh, my God, Driscoll's a steal. Like, I can't believe they got him. But everybody said, do not draft this guy. Like, do not draft Prince. Like, he's a nutcase, and he's not that good. Granted, you get him in the 5th round, but the Eagles still drafted him. And it's like, oh, just great. Everybody says don't draft this guy, but then you draft him. But then you got Davion Taylor, never forced a turnover in college. Sorry, I don't want you. If you can't force a turnover in college, you're damn well not going to do it in the pros because they're way better than everybody you're going to face. See you later, cuz. I'm done with you. Jalen Hurts, yeah, okay. He couldn't hack it at Alabama. He goes to Oklahoma, has CeeDee Lamb, fantastic. Still don't like him, but I like him now because I have to. I want to be behind him. I want to see the guy succeed because I don't want him to lose his job. But what's going to happen is he's going to lose his job. And it's not going to be any fault of his own. It's going to be because Howie thinks he's the smartest man, and this is the guy that I have next.
Look, we're sitting here. We're sitting here on April 12th, and they asked Joe Flacco at his introductory press conference about 17 different ways. Are you competing for the starting job? Are you competing for the starting job? Have you been told anything? And he said, I'm here to make the quarterback room better.
But basically also said, yes, I'm here to compete. I'm always here.
But the way they wrote the contract is if he does start, he makes a ton of money. If he hits X, Y, and Z, he makes a ton of money. So you better damn well believe that Joe Flacco's going in there to compete.
Yeah, he wants to get paid. Like, does anybody go, hey, I'm going to be comfortable with a backup position? No, especially when it's a bunch of unproven guys. Like Jalen Hurts, okay.
Joe Flacco picked the job that was the easiest to win that was available.
Exactly.
He's win the job.
Going into this to be his backup. If that, then Nate Sudfeld would have been here. But Nate Sudfeld's like, I might have to compete for a starting job. I'm not staying with the Eagles. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to the
San Francisco.
Yeah, so I can be buried under all those quarterbacks, and they're gonna take another quarterback, so it doesn't matter. You take this job if you want to compete and if you want to win the job. Which if Joe Flacco wins the job, oh my God, I would probably not even watch. Sorry, Oscar, but I would not watch. That would just
be Oscar a Joe Flacco guy?
He is a Baltimore guy. Okay. Loves Joe Flacco. So
I do too. I got a lot of friends who went to U of Delaware. You know, I love the fact that he's in the NFL, but
I saw him play against my high school. My buddy picked him off 3 times.
Joe Flacco in the NFL should not be able to beat Jalen Hurts for a starting job.
Not at all. 100% he shouldn't. But when you come to the Eagles, anything's possible.
And as you come to the Eagles as a backup quarterback, you are constantly in the spotlight.
It just makes me so frustrating that the draft is, 2 weeks away? 2 weeks away now?
Yeah.
Right? And we're sitting here and it's like, hey, man, I would love to have J.C. Horn. I would love to have – I don't give a fuck. Give me Surtain. I'd love to have Micah Parsons if they fall. And you know damn well they're all going to be on the board. And then –
And we're getting the long snapper from Eastern Tennessee Community College.
Or like you said, trade alert. Trade comes in. And it's like J.C. Horn's right there. Oh, the Eagles traded with blah, blah, blah. And to the Bears, so we're moving back, and they're moving up, and then they go J.C. Horn. It's just like, oh, really?
I do. I think that the sweet spot for the Eagles at this draft, and again, I say sweet spot meaning where they're going to end up, is going to be in the 16, 17, 18 range.
And then that means next season they're going to try to trade for a quarterback. They're going to take all the draft picks
and send them up.
Yep, and then we'll be in the same position. We'll just give Deshaun Watson, who might not play, depends, I don't know, if he wants to get handsy or not. if he's going to play in the
Yeah,
league.
I mean, I've heard he is a hands-on quarterback, so
He's very hands-on.
he's not good at the hand. I will say, after watching him play, I've watched a lot of tape on him. He is not good at handoffs.
No, but just a tip for this. Just a tip. He might have to clear all 22 of his cases. And I'm not making light of it in that way. It's serious.
It's
but
awful.
But the Eagles would want to trade for him, so that pisses me off too. So.
Right, and I said, I'm like, look. Basically, here's the deal. Either with
you and me both, Don.
Right. Either with Deshaun Watson, either it's all true and his career is over, or none of it's true and he is going to get blackballed like Kaepernick did. And by the way, I just have to ask, and I don't try to get political, I don't try to do all this stuff, but is this finally the year where people stop suggesting Colin Kaepernick as a backup? Can this please be the year?
Well, because he's so far removed, I would say yes.
He's so far removed. That's my only reason. Not saying he's not talented, not saying that he's probably more talented than a Nate Sudfeld or any of these other second to third string guys.
I would have taken him like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and last year as a
but
guy
you
on this
couldn't
wall.
Because if he comes in, then the expectation is that you're going to compete with Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz couldn't handle the competition. You brought in Jalen Hurts in the second round.
Because if we had Colin Kaepernick, not going to lie, when Carson Wentz had his concussion against Seattle, if we had Kaepernick instead of Josh McCown, no offense to Josh McCown, we would have probably won that.
McCown did everything he could. He played on a broken hip or a fractured
he just tore his quad on the second play. But imagine if we had another backup, like not Nate Sudfeld, who Nate Sudfeld breaks his wrist.
Is this finally the season where people stop doing, hey, Colin Kaepernick's a good option? Please tell me it's the season.
I probably
I can't do it anymore. The fact that he's still an option on Madden. On Madden football, he's still an option.
Madden forever. I would have had him years ago. Honestly, I would have taken him years ago just to back up Carson and to like help any way possible if something happened. But we didn't. But funny thing, I love what Don said. I can't wait to not have to see everyone's. I'm so sick of everybody. Hey, look at my latest mock draft. It's like, yeah, you're user picking every pick. You know this isn't true. Stop doing it. Please stop doing mock drafts. It's not right. It's not true. Mm-hmm. It'll never be what you think it is. All the guys that I project, like 2 years ago when we had this show, I wanted Hendrickson from the Saints, Trey Hendrickson. That was the guy that like I targeted. I'm like, that's the dude that I want. And I was so happy. I'm like, he's there for the Eagles to pick. They didn't pick him in, I think, like the second round. And then he goes to the Saints. And I'm like, fuck. And now that guy's having a great year. I stopped doing mock drafts. I stopped even like looking past the first round. Because let's be real. The Eagles don't hit on anything outside of any rounds of the draft. So
it's like they see what we're doing and they're like, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make sense.
They just want to be so cute and so smart. And they're not cute. Like they're like they're like the equivalent of like taking your cousin to prom. Like that's how cute they are.
It's
cringy, right? It's cringy. It's gross. Okay. It kind of freaks you out a little bit. That's the Eagles front office. They're the people who take their cousin to prom.
So you went straight Pennsylvania. Okay, cool.
I did. You go past Norristown, you go out that way, heading west, right past Scranton, you're going to see Pennsylvania.
Well, we've reached that point where we have just gone totally off the rails. And I can't talk about Eagles drama anymore because there's so many things in Philadelphia. So
all good things.
The Sixers are good. They're really good. The Phillies are on the trend up.
They are.
The Flyers are on their way down. And the Eagles are the bottom right now.
Fatigued. Yes.
It is April, and I am exhausted of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Agreed. I don't think there's like anything left. Like I just feel like people are making shit up just to get people to talk about them. I
feel like there's truth to it, but it's like whisper down the lane at this point. And I honestly feel like at some point you have to start being like, can we please check Howie's text messages? Because he's got to still be feeding these stories.
That's all he does. He just needs. They're like the people who need the attention when it's not deserved. But then it's like always like, how is it? Yo, tell everybody I'm doing it. Tell everybody
they're like me. They're me in the front office. That's what I do. But I don't run a multi-billion-dollar team.
Yeah, and you're not running it poorly. You're not running it into the ground. But we also, as fans, have to do better and just not support it. Stop going to games. But no, nobody will stop doing that because we need to boo them. Well, if you sell out a stadium to boo, only thing they're doing is making money. So you're just making everything look like a jackass. So just stop supporting the team and see what happens. I'm not saying like don't root for them, but just stop going to games, stop buying shit. Hit them where it hurts. Hit them in the pockets. See if something happens. If Jeffrey Lurie's not making money for one season, I guarantee he's going to reevaluate. But since people keep buying the shit and people keep going, exactly, I can boo from my couch. I can boo from anywhere. But I'm not going to the stadium.
And last season we saw that we can boo from anywhere.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go back. You don't have to go back. The fact that some of these stadiums are like, oh, well, we're just going to open up a full capacity. Like in Texas right now, you can put 44,000 people in the stands for a Rangers game. Like y'all are dumb. Y'all know COVID is still a thing, right?
And COVID spikes are back up. So that's hilarious.
Y'all know COVID's still a thing. Yeah. And on that lovely, happy note, my friend, it has been like an hour and a half, dude.
It's been a great time.
Do you have anything else you want to add about the current state of Philadelphia sports or just anything really?
The only thing I have is your boy, the guy you had on your show a bunch of times, Mr. Rob Motti, tweeted out last night about the incidents of the Braves throwing shit on the field.
Yes.
Please, can we, America, if America is watching this show, Philly hasn't thrown shit on the field since like 1999. It's been almost 22 years since we've done anything horrific. And before that, even longer, 40 plus years. Stop. National broadcast, ESPN. Oh, Philly should expect it.
Yeah.
Stop that bullshit. A-Rod, you're a bum. Go cheat on J-Lo. Like you're a bum. I hate everything about you. Matt Sartesian or whatever the hell his name is. You suck too. Like stop putting.
Yeah, that was a bad group last night. I did not enjoy Sunday Night Baseball last evening.
It was awful. And it's like stop putting putting us in this spot to defend ourselves when we haven't done anything in 20 years. But you can go to Oakland and get stabbed. You can go to the Dodger Stadium and get stabbed. You can go to Denver.
And what happened in the game over the weekend? The whole thing with Freddie Freeman's home run ball and the Philadelphia Phillies fan giving it to the kid. Like,
yeah. But no, everything's overlooked. Everything's overlooked because we throw shit. This is why I don't watch national broadcast. I hate national broadcast.
Us. We don't care. Yes, but we do care.
I do care because it's annoying when it's
the problem. We do care. Look, we did this whole show already where we were like, no one likes us in Philly, and we do care when we were talking nonstop about how the Eagles are just getting trashed on. Look, the problem is that Philadelphia has gotten a bad rap, and look, it's tough. It's tough to play here. We can mention he who must not be named anymore, Carson Wentz. He couldn't hack it here. Jalen Hurts can hack it here as far as mentally, but he's not going to be able to hack it here talent-wise. I don't, like you said, he's not the long-term response.
No.
The problem is that us as Phillies fans, us as Eagles fans, us as Flyers fans, as Sixers fans, we have high expectations. This is still an Eagles town. The fans here, we're outstanding. It's the couple yes, there was a jail in the vet. The vet is rubble.
And most places have detention centers underneath them if something does happen before they get taken to community or county prisons. It's
threw snowballs at Santa
in 1970 something, 1980. It makes me laugh because people
change the narrative, bro.
People are dying in LA at games during tailgates. People are getting stomped out and stabbed and killed in Denver. But God forbid we threw batteries and we threw snowballs at Santa Claus. It's getting ridiculous at this point. Change the narrative. That's all. Just stop. Just stop. That's all I got.
I like it. That's a solid point. Let me pay some bills one more time. So we are here all about the birds. We are sponsored by quite a few people. Hemp Bombs. Again, if you are looking for some premium CBD products or you want to purchase them for me and watch me do a show tripping on my face, because I think that could be actually funny. We might look for a sponsorship there. Could be a good time. So AAT Birds, 20% off, hempbombs.com. 99jersey.com. Get your movie jerseys, things like that. AAT Birds for 20% discount at checkout. Manscaped, talking about your balls and how they will be appreciative. Your balls and how they'd be appreciative. I'm serious. The little razor has a light guiding system. It's a lot of fun. So you got to check out their stuff. AAT Birds, free shipping with the code M, 20% off. Here's the rundown for the week. Here's what's going to be. Tomorrow night, fantasy golf. I don't understand a lick of that. But it's on. Phil does his thing. They just had the Masters, so they'll probably be talking about that and how their fantasy predictions went. So that's tomorrow night. Wednesday night is the flagship show where we talk all about the birds and we'll talk about the drama and we'll talk about, I think Phil's poll this week is a good one. It's talk about some excellent first round draft picks of the past. And by excellent, I say that sarcastically. Friday night birds, beers, and BS. People just talking the shit. Saturday night, the draft show. Any kind of breaking news will pop on. Don't forget Tuesday night as well. Drunk on Broad. That's Rich's show. It's Rich's show.
It's one of the best shit shows you'll ever watch. I'll tell you that. But if you don't and you tune in the Phils, that's fine. Find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Tune into our Twitter. You can find us pretty much anywhere. I realized how to use this thing called Anchor, and I was able to put the podcast everywhere. So I'm pretty proud of myself. Shout out to Oscar for not being any help, you bitch.
I was lucky. I joined a team that already had Anchor up and running. So I was like, how do I do the click? How do I do the clicking? And they're like, you do it like this. I was like, okay, I do the clicking.
I was going, how do I use the Google? How do I use the Google?
Which is where, by the way, you can hear this show on the same things, on all your Spotify, on all your stuff. You can hear my voice in your ears.
It's a good voice. Good voice. It's like an angel.
Well, thank you.
Jesus.
Did we just become new best friends?
Yup. Karate in the garage. Let's go.
Rich, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. This has been All About the Birds. Chips and Dish, Monday nights as usual. Go Birds, go Sixers, go away Flyers. keep going Phillies. Go away Eagles at this point. But as we also say here,
amen.
Even though I'm drinking water, we're out of beer, so we're out of here. See you guys next time. Peace.
Later.
Support for All About the Birds is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. We have an exclusive offer for our listeners, 20% off plus free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. Manscaped hooked us up with a bunch of tools and formulations from their Perfect Package 3.0 kit, including the Lawnmower 3.0, which comes with an LED light for a more precise shave and is waterproof to make your shower shave clean and easy. The Perfect Package also includes a deodorant for your undercarriage to prevent odors and chafing, a reviving lotion, a pair of boxers and a t-shirt, not to mention a travel bag to store all your grooming goodies. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code AATBirds. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.